Would you be interested in sitting down and having a conversation with Prestons, the family?
Sure, I wouldn't have a problem with that because it really didn't. I'd like to understand their situation a little bit more. Is it everybody does it? It was a white privilege thing back then. It's there's a lot of things went on. My grandmother on my dad's side was a product of rape, for example. Who knew until all this genealogy stuff went down from her slave, from the slave master help, basically. He raped her, hence my grandmother. And another family ended up picking her up and taking her over. Or not taking her over, but they were really good to her and brought her up. And kids like that, basically, nobody didn't have anything wanted to have anything to do with them at the time. So there's just some things that it's just so long ago it can't be corrected. How you gonna correct it? But it should be noted. It should be taught. Some of the stuff with the book banning and all that, it's absolutely ridiculous. So it should be taught. People should be aware of it. Now, do they need to have grade school, a curriculum on slavery in the United States? Probably not. Probably that should be waited for a little bit more mature minds to try to handle something like that, as far as the way deep part of it. Um, but there's got to be a recognition. You can't just, well, that's, I don't know what you do to it or do about it, but it can't be, well, and no, you didn't have anything to do with it 100 years ago. I get that, but you can't just say, well, that was 100 years ago. It didn't make any difference. Well, it made a lot of difference economically, home ownership, business-wise. There's a lot, and it's very difficult to recover from something like that, you know. Um, I know a lot of land was given to blacks back then that they ain't got no more, because somebody just says it's mine now. What are you going to do? And back then, what could you do? So things are moving in the right direction, but I would just tell anybody that, or the Prestons, or you may have did what you had to do, but what do you think about it now? Like, what would their descendants think about it now? I don't know how far you guys are getting into their whole side, but what is the descendants of the slave owners think about their great grandfather owning slaves?
What kind of questions should we ask them?
Uh, well, again, what was the need for that? Why would you think that this individual is 2/3 of a man, for example, that could be treated like farm animals to some extent? And this whole deal about, oh, well, slavery was good because it gave them jobs. Dude, they had a job where they were. What are you talking about? They were, it's unbelievable. So some of the ridiculousness of it, um, I don't think I'm not in a position of telling them what they should have done 200 years ago because it was a wholly different, that may have just been as common as, anything back in the day. I would ask them, why would you think that half the country does it this way and the other half of the country does it that way? That'd be a question I'd like to hear them answer. Why do you think that, and it's probably due to the original boundary lines and the whole Civil War and that whole drama. There's some racists up north too. There's no doubt about that. But the acceptance of it in the South was just unbelievable. But that's coming from somebody 200 years later. It may have been absolutely normal 200 years ago, type of thing. So it's kind of difficult for me. But that's what benefit did you actually get out of that? And what happened when slavery ended? Where'd all these people go that you had enslaved?